Hello, my name is Ed Hearn, president of St. Augustine High School, and today we're on the patio with our guest, Mr. Tom Cudal, who has really been a fixture here at the school for a number of years. I believe Tom has been with us. This is his 42nd year. Tom is married 39 years to his wife, Lucinda. His son, Nick, graduate of Saints '07, and his daughter, Rebecca, who's a graduate of OLP. Tom is a graduate of the Saints class 1972. Tom is currently teaching English, and more importantly, well, not more importantly, but certainly important, he is the voice of St. Augustine High School and has been for many years, and has a wonderful voice, and is always does such a good job with our basketball games and football games. So Tom, welcome to On the Patio. I would like to ask you, when was the first time you ever heard of St. Augustine High School? Oh, Tom, before we get started, why don't we take off our masks?
Oh, good idea. I can talk somewhat normally.
Yes.
So my first experience with Saints, boy, I think I was in 6th grade, and I came to a basketball game here with St. Didicus, and I was pretty much awestruck by the big gymnasium, and more importantly, the students that were here. And they just looked like they were having a wonderful time. They were, you just saw the camaraderie, and I thought, boy, this would be a great place. I want to be part of the school, and I want to be like these big guys, like these old guys, and have all these friends.
Right. Well, you've been here for a while, and I'm sure you've seen the school go through many changes during your time here. What would you say are 2 or 3 of those changes that have really made a difference at St. Augustine High School during your tenure?
Well, you know, again, when I finally arrived at Saints as a freshman, what was noticeable and what my parents liked, and I liked it as well, as all the Augustinian presence. And you know, having Augustinians as teachers was different because I came from a school where you know, there were nuns and all female teachers. So arriving here, male teachers and 1 female teacher, and it felt good. But what it was again that Augustinian presence, because they I know my mother was pregnant with my younger brother, and my religion teacher at the time, Father Garrett, I think he graduated in '32 from Saints, and he knew of my mother being pregnant, and he took the whole class to the chapel right here to just have a special mass for her. And I thought, wow, that's amazing. Mm-hmm. And obviously, you know, I told my mother, hey, you know, we had a mass for you, Mom, and she was in tears because she thought, you know, how special this is, and she knew that I was in a special place here, you know, at Saints. So yeah, seeing it the way it is now, sure, there aren't as many Augustinian priests here, but there are enough, you know, so that spirit is still here. So right. That's important, and I think that's what I see. Would I like to see more priests here? Sure, we all would, but right. You know, we know the situation. So
we have this thing at Saints. It's called the Saints Experience, and every boy has this unique kind of experience as he goes through his 4 years here. Tell us about your experience, your Saints experience.
My Saints experience was, you know, I don't think I remember anything that I learned. And I think that's true of my classmates as well. And we did learn, because there are many of us who are professionals, and we know we learned a lot, but I think what we learned was you know, that friendship, you know, how to be close with one another, how to support each other. And we still get together. My class still has their little mini reunions, and what do we talk about? We talk about the shenanigans that took place when we were here. And some of the stuff is made up, by a lot of guys. It gets, somebody's always embellishing a story. But one of the things I remember most kind of reminds me of what's going on right now, reminds me of what it was we went through when I was a student here, because there were a lot of students, and the classrooms, there weren't that many of them, so we had to go on what was called a modular schedule. So we would go to a lecture in the morning, room 17 and 18, where it was a huge room. So we would listen to a lecture like from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. And then we had a study period in which we would go to the library or hang out in the patio, and we were supposed to be studying until our next class began, which was after lunch. So we would have, maybe 3 hours, and we thought we were okay by just naturally, staying out here and studying. But a couple of guys said, hey, nobody's watching us. Let's go to the beach. And so sure enough, it got to the point where the modular system, we were all good. We went to the beach. We would climb in a guy's truck or an El Camino or a Volkswagen Bug, and you'd see, 10 guys driving down Pershing, sitting in the back of a truck, and we'd go to Marine Street and have the greatest time over there, and naturally we'd come back in time for our next class. And but we were good. But so what I see today with the students outside during cohort, that's how it was supposed to be when we were here, but nobody was watching us. But we were good enough to know that we still have to do the right thing. Mm-hmm. But let's go to the beach too. Mm-hmm. And that's where we developed, these close bonds, because we just had we had a blast.
So here we are, it's 2020. We're in the middle of this COVID-19 pandemic. We are operating the school in person 4 days a week, online 1 day a week. And you've been here long enough, Tom, to kind of see the trend of how it's all going. Where do you see Saints in, let's say, 20 years? What does Saints look like in 20 years?
Well, so many people are getting accustomed to online learning. We see colleges, universities going to online learning, but there's still something that's very special about being in the classroom with the students. I know before the masks, one of my things was knowing every single student day one. And getting to now it's a little difficult because I just see the eyes, so I get mixed up a little bit in who this is and who that is. But we still get to know them. I still get to know them, but yeah, what I see is probably more of this, because I think we're doing the same amount of work. It's a little bit more challenging for us as educators, but it's working. It seems to be working. But yes, that face-to-face contact, day-to-day contact, I hope that will come back, because that's what made Saints unique. Mm-hmm. And that's what will continue to make Saints unique. I mean, I look at the number of schools that are in session, and it's Saints, and obviously things seem to be working out, and I hope it continues to work out and it gets better.
Well, Tom, thanks so much for being here today. It's really been fun to have you reminisce about modular scheduling, especially. Yeah. I read about it, and I cannot. It only lasted a few years. So your beach trips, your seminars down on the beach.
Those were memorable.
Memorable, I'm sure. So thanks for being with us today. Really appreciate it, and thanks to our guest, Tom Cudal. And until next time, stay safe.
Okay, so you don't have to use this one, you know.